Welcome to Book Banter with me, your host, Dianne Burkhart. I hope you will join me every Wednesday as we explore all things to do with, well, books. Let's get on with our show today. Hello, my happy people. Today is September 14th, 2022. Thank you so much for joining me today. This episode is actually going to be kind of short and sweet because I'm actually in the middle of my writing group. We have just split off to go do writing on our separate projects, and we're going to come back together later and read what we were working on. And I'm very quickly trying to squeeze in this podcast before I have to get back to my group, and I want to actually do some writing before I go back. But speaking of writing, I wanted to talk to you all about my writing prompt challenge. I hadn't finalized a lot of the information on the website until just now, so I want to cover that with all of you. This writing prompt challenge is just something to have fun with the listeners, to try and get a little bit of interaction going, and it's very simple. All you have to do is go to burkhartbooks.com/writing-prompt-challenge, and I'm going to put the link in the description of the podcast, as always, so you can just click and go. But the writing prompts, you can pick any of them. It doesn't have to be the one from this week's episode. It can be any writing prompt on the page, and you write a short story, just 2 pages. It should be typed, double-spaced, and at least a 12-point font because I'm getting older and it's harder to read things that are smaller than a 12-point font. You can submit it in a doc or a text or a PDF format, and all you have to do is pick one of the prompts, write at least a 2-page story. 2 pages is about as long as we want to go. Doesn't matter what the word count is, just 2 pages. And submit it. That's it. This is open to anyone, anywhere. I don't care what country you're in. The only thing is you do need to write the story in English because that's, the language that I can read. I'm doing better with German than I can do some Spanish, but not enough to read an entire story in those. Now, I will tell you the legalese here, just to kill more time, basically. And by submitting your story, you are agreeing to give Dianne Burkhart, me, and Burkhart Books, which is also me, basically, limited publication rights in perpetuity. That just means that I can forever have it on my website or in the archives of my podcast, because we are going to pick random stories occasionally and read them in the podcast. And they will be in the archive of the podcast forever. As long as we have a podcast, as long as we're paying for, our podcast service to host our podcast, your story will be there. And you're giving us the right to do that. So we are free to read these on the air and broadcast them with Book Banter with Dianne Burkhart, the podcast. However, the rights given to us do not include the right to publish the writer submissions for sale. We will not be putting these in a book. We will not be selling your work. We will not be profiting off of it. The only thing we're going to do is share it with the audience for free on our website or in the podcast. The writer agrees that we are allowed to do this in perpetuity with no promise of immediate or future monetary remuneration. We do not agree to give you any money now or at any time in the future for being allowed to do this, and you agree to that. You're letting us use these without being paid. The writer freely gives up all rights to any monetary claims for any podcast or any website publications or archival storage of these stories in the Book Banter archives. The writer retains all of the rights. You're free to do whatever you want to. You can let other people read them on their podcast. You can put them on other websites. You can put them in a book and publish them. We have no rights to any of that. We just have the right to put it on our website and to talk about it on our podcast. That's it. At least one story per podcast will be chosen at random to be read on the air, and every 3 months, one story will be chosen to win a $25 cash prize. Now, the winner must have PayPal to receive the prize, unless you're willing to take an Amazon gift card in place of the $25 cash prize. Winner will be chosen either by public voting or by a random computer drawing. We'll assign each story a number and use a computer program to randomly choose the number. Now, here are the writing prompts that we have since the beginning of this since we started doing this, okay? So it started on June 29th, and we did this every week on Wednesdays up until this week, which is September 14th. So I'm just going to read the prompts. I'm not going to worry about reading the dates because the dates don't matter because you can use any prompt on this list that you want. The date just tells you when we put it up on the webpage. Number 1, the year is 1845. The world is very different from our historical reality. Humans are not the dominant species. Number 2, this prompt comes from writer Sharon Stevens, who was my first interview guest on Book Banter with Dianne Burkhart. You find a trap door in the floor of your house. What do you find when you go down through it? Number 3, this prompt comes from Western author Mark L. Redmond, who has also been a guest on our show. You own a cattle ranch in Arizona. Calves have been disappearing from your herd of 2,000 head of cattle. You have lost 15 during the last week. There have been no signs to indicate the calves were killed by animals. They're just gone. The next town with a lawman is 35 miles away. How will you recover your livestock? Number 4, you start a new job working at a rare bookshop. There is one book the owner keeps locked in a glass case with many magical protection symbols drawn on the glass. The owner will not talk about the book, but will only say if the book ever escapes the case, the world is doomed. You are alone in the shop when an earthquake hits, and you watch in horror as debris falls on the case, shattering the glass. What happens? Number 5, a woman works in a law firm. She is given a pro bono case for a homeless man accused of stealing from a local grocery. When she meets the man, she realizes it's her ex-fiancé who left her at the altar 2 years previously. How does she handle the meeting? Number 6, as you walk outside, the wind starts to pick up and storm clouds begin to roll into your area. When you look up, you notice something odd about the clouds. As you watch the clouds roll and swirl, lights begin to flash in the clouds. Number 7, it's the hottest day so far this summer. You are out at a local outdoor market enjoying live music and all the food trucks. However, the heat starts to get to you and you realize you have spent all of your cash and have no money to buy water. You decide to head back toward the subway to go home, but you start to feel a little lightheaded and stagger, losing your balance, but someone catches you before you fall. When you look up, you can't believe who you're looking at. Number 8, he dialed the number and waited for it to ring. He was hoping that he would immediately hear a human's voice on the other end, but when the connection clicked through, he heard that same message he always dreaded. Number 9, it's a lovely autumn day and you decide to go for a walk through the woods. As you walk down a path, you hear a noise off to the side and you go to investigate. You find a doorway in a clearing standing there all by itself. Do you go through? Number 10, you wake up and you find you have a new supernatural ability. What is it? How does it work? What do you do with it? Number 11, you work in a hospice and have been watching over an elderly man who had been a sailor, but not much else is known about him. He had no family or friends that you know of. When he passes, you find he left everything he owned, a safe deposit box, to you. When you get around to checking out the box, you find it only has 2 items in it. An old tattered map that looks like something you'd see in a museum, and a note. And for this week's prompt, number 12, in honor of my 55th birthday that is coming up on the 19th, it's your birthday! You get up as usual and get ready for your day. As you open the door to your tiny apartment to leave for work, you find a box on your doorstep. So there you go. Those are the prompts that we have listed up until now. You can choose any of them, write just a 2-page story, double-spaced, 12-point type, save it in a doc, a text, or a PDF, and email it to us at contact@burkhartbooks.com with the tagline, Writer's Prompt Challenge. We are going to start reading these, I promise, by the end of the month. I have an interview this week, so we're going to have that interview probably next week if I can get the editing all done in time. And then we'll start with reading some stories after that. So there you go. There are your prompts for your challenge. I cannot wait to read more of these stories. I've only had a few, so it would take us, just a couple of weeks to go through the ones that I've got. So I really want to get some more stories in. Please be creative. Have some fun. Interact with us. That's what we're trying to do. We just want to be more interactive with the people who listen. And we want to find out how creative you are. What kind of ideas do you have? It's always fun to share creative ideas, I think. Now, I do want to talk about my friend Kara. I'm going to be having the interview with Kara on the 15th, so I should be able to get the editing all done so it'll appear in next Wednesday's podcast. She has her own company called Wise Oak Soapery. She creates all of these amazing soaps and lotions and body balms and lip balms from all natural products. She makes every single one of them by hand. They are beautiful. They're fantastic. People love them. And one of the things is, as she has been advertising her own products, she has become just phenomenally good at creating these great video presentations of her products. And so many people have been asking her, how do you get these videos? Who does this? And she was telling them, I do it. So many people were asking her questions about her video production that she has created, Cabo Creative, to teach other people how to make these great product videos. And these will be great for anything. You can use it to promote yourself, your products. If you're an influencer, this is some information that you are going to want. Trust me. She is a person that you can learn great things from. If you check out the links, the important links at the bottom of the description of this podcast, you'll find all of the information for her Wise Oak Soapery and for Cabo Creative. Check out her stuff. You can sign up to actually take lessons from her on this video production, and you will not be sorry. You will see an increase in your following with the stuff that she can teach you. Check out her videos. You can see for yourself just how amazing she is at this. And while you're at it, if you have a moment, check out her Wise Oak Soapery, because if you have any kind of problems, like for me, if I use the wrong soap, I will break out in hives everywhere that soap touches me. I have to use things that are all natural, no perfumes, and her products are amazing. You really do need to check her out. Now, we just have one last thing that we're going to be doing here. I am working diligently on the touch, and I hope to have a video done here pretty soon, which I may have to talk to Kara about that, for the new cover art reveal for the touch. I've been working on the cover art. It's all done. It's ready to go. And so now I want to share it with all of you. I'm really hoping for something that's just spooky and creepy and grabs you and makes you wonder what's going on behind that mirror. That gives you a little hint of something that's in there. But that's something that I'm going to be working on this weekend. I've got so much other stuff going on. We're trying to get ready to actually take a vacation. We haven't had one since 2019. I have been going insane trying, and that's literal. That's not, me just being dramatic. But I have been going insane trying to find a sitter for our dog Shaggy, because he always used to stay with our landlords. He got to stay in the building because they live on the floor below us. He was familiar with them. He saw them all the time. He was in love with their dog. It was always perfect. But because of their health, they're having a hard time even taking care of their own dog now. So they cannot handle more than one dog at a time. So we have to find somebody else for Shaggy. And it has been so stressful. But this Sunday, I hope to be meeting somebody who seems like she is going to be the answer to our prayers. I'm really, really hoping. So if you say prayers, if you give healing vibes, if you, knock on wood, cross your fingers, whatever you do for luck, throw a little of that our way, because we can really use it right now. She seems absolutely wonderful. I think she's going to work out great. She even had studied veterinary medicine before she moved here to Germany. So, I know she's somebody who can take care of him. It's just whether or not he is going to get along with her animals. So that's what we're going to be checking out this weekend. So cross your fingers that they all like each other and they get along, because it will be the answer to my prayers if they all like each other. But I will be doing the cover reveal soon, and tonight I'm going to get off here and go write real quick so that I can have something to share with my writing group, and I will share it with you next week. So that's it for today. I hope I didn't speak too fast for all of you. I've been trying to just rush and get this all done because I have been going crazy today, trying to get everything accomplished and do laundry and walk the dog and just keep up with all of it. But I'll stop rambling now so that you can all just go forth and, be happy. Because I always want you to be happy.